Good morning. Stephen Cash from the Steady State. I want to talk for around 2 minutes about something called NSPM-7. Sounds pretty bureaucratic. It is. It's also something you should be really, really worried about. NSPM-7 stands for National Security Policy Memorandum Number 7. Sometimes presidents issue a memorandum to the executive branch outlining a policy, and this is one of them. But this is very different. It's online, and we'll probably post it in the comments below. It's a little dense, but it does seem to be written by Donald Trump, and recommend you read it. Why? Well, it outlines a policy to look at what they call domestic terrorism. Now, we have focused on external international terrorism for years. Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. We've always been very careful about domestic terrorism because it overlaps with dearly held First Amendment principles. Terrorism, by definition, is an effort to move politics and move decision-making, and there's a line that we attempt to draw between what is terrorism and what is free speech. And we've had trouble with that. But NSPM-7 goes way farther than anybody else has and breaks that mold because it's explicitly focused on First Amendment things. It outlines a series of indicators, and if you've been following the Steady State, you know that indicators are a term of art in the intelligence community. It outlines some that the various law enforcement and intelligence elements of the government are instructed to focus on. And there's a list of them. And they don't say things like making bombs or planning an attack in a school or a synagogue or a church. It says things like having anti-American views or extreme views on how the border should be helped or extreme views as defined by the president on the role of Christianity in our country. It's a terrifying document. It essentially outlines an enemies list for Donald Trump and his supporters and tells the FBI, the CIA, the NSA to direct all of their energies in concert to going after people or organizations who meet one or more of those standards. It's a fundamental change of our relationship with our own government. It's very similar to what we've seen overseas. It's how the KGB and the Stasi and the Gestapo work. And it's a document that Americans should read and be really, really worried about. And now it's been operationalized because just earlier this week in the president's budget, we see that there's going to be a national level task force led by the FBI. It's sort of a pre-crime task force. It's supposed to take NSPM-7, look at the people or organizations that fit those definitions of what they perceive as not American, and start looking at them before they do anything. It's a little bit like the old movie with the ability to see crimes before they happen. It's terrifying. Please take a look at it. Look in the chat below, and you'll see some links.